Okay, today we're gonna tie a lightning bug. And this is a really, really cool but simple little pattern. Let me put one up here for you to check out. Really, really cool, effective little pattern. Definitely does the, looks like a little lightning bug, has the split wings and the bright UV abdomen and stuff. So very, very cool little pattern that I came up with, and I call it the FIRE FLY. I think it's going to be a good one, especially during the summer when the lightning bugs are out. It should catch you trout, bass, bluegill, all kinds of stuff. So anyway, let's get going. This is a number 10 short shank heavy wire MFC hook. Okay. And I've got it loaded up. I've got some 210 denier thread on here in black. And I'm just going to start by tying in about halfway back. I'm going to clip this little bit off the tag end. And I'm going to work my thread back here. First thing that's going to go on is getting that bright green for the abdomen. And what I use for that is this sparkle braid. It works great for that. And it's easy, it has UV, it glows really, really well. So it's kind of the ideal stuff for this. So let's go ahead and I'm going to tie a little bit of this in. I'm just going to tie a couple of loose wraps, tie it down to the end of where my thread is. By the way, my thread where I ended it was about halfway, right about where the barb is. And I'm going to do some nice tight wraps. I'm going to go all the way up to just behind the eye, and then I'm going to work it back a little bit to about halfway down, a little less than halfway down the hook shank. And then I'm going to do a little quick half hitch because I don't want this to go anywhere. So, and put my thread off to the side here, because I'm gonna be wrapping this around. And what you want to do when you wrap it, you want to wrap it nice tight wraps. And you're trying to build it up. So that's why I have such a long piece of braid. So I'm going to go about halfway up the hook shank, and then I'm going to go and work my way back towards the back. And then I'm going to work my way back forward. So you can see I'm building up a pretty good little, I guess it's the abdomen on this guy. And I'm going to take my thread, and I'm going to go behind the braid once. I'm going to just lock this in. So I'm going to go behind the braid once, twice, and 3 times. And then I'm going to go in front of the braid a couple times, and then I'm going to clip that off. So we are left with this right here. And I'm going to lock this in. I'm going to work my way back just a little bit, covering up this braid because I just want this to be black underneath. There we go. Just like that. And the next thing I'm going to do is I have this little piece of craft foam. I believe it's 2 millimeter, might be 1 millimeter. Whatever you have, just use it. This is the stuff that I got at like Michael's or Hobby Lobby. So I've just cut a little square of it. But what I want to do on here is there's a couple little things on the cut that I want to do. First off, I'm going to make the end of it nice and rounded. So let me even this out. So you can see I made that rounded. And then I'm going to cut like a little V in the middle of the back of the wing here. See, you can see that right like that. And then I got one more set of cuts I need to do. And you can see I'm just cutting kind of an angle there, just back to the wings so I can, it gives me a good tie-in point and gives me good wing shape. So my final is going to be like that. I'm going to clean this up just a little bit so it looks a little bit better, but that's the basics of it. Okay, perfect. So that will definitely do. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to lay it with the V side back. I'm going to lay it right on top here. And you can see I want this back of these wings to be kind of even with the back of the hook here. And I think you can probably see that. I'm going to hold this in place and I'm going to do a couple of light wraps around here, and then I'm going to make sure that it's centered and on the top of the hook. And then if it is, I'm going to go ahead and lock it into place there with a couple of tighter wraps. Okay, while I have this here, I'm going to use a little bit of super glue, a little bit of Zap-A-Gap. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of lock these wings down a little bit onto the little glow part, the little glow abdomen. So I'm just going to put a little bit, and I don't want too much because I do want this to stick out a little bit. I don't want it completely locked down. So I'll put that on there, and I'll have to hold this for about 10 or 20 seconds until it locks in. There we go. Okay, that'll work. Next up is legs. And yeah, I know they have 6 legs, but really on a bug this small, putting 4 on there is going to get the effect just fine. So I want to tie in, I have a couple of these pre-cut, and they're cut long, but I just want to tie them on the side, and I'll show you that in a second. Basically, I'm just getting them into place, and then running a couple wraps around there just to lock them in. So let me do this. I'm going to try and, it's hard to do this where you guys can see what's going on, but I'll try my best. So, and I'm going to make sure that this is oriented where I want it. So I'm going to pull it up a little bit to the side of the bug, right like that. Okay, you can see right there. And let's go ahead and pop that out. Great, that'll work. So I'll lock that down with a few more wraps, 2 and 3. I'm not going to cut these just yet. I will be cutting them eventually, but I'm not going to at this point in time. What I am going to do though is this big long piece here, I'm going to cut that off. And I'm going to cut it off pretty close to the legs. So it'll be behind the hook eye, but pretty close to the legs. This just takes a second here because my eyes are terrible. There we go. So that's what we have so far. You can see it's kind of taking shape there. Get these legs in order a little bit. Now I've got a little orange piece of craft foam here, and it's the same width on there. And I've just cut it into a little bit of just a little rectangle. Okay, I'm going to lay this down, and I want to have a little bit of color, so I'm going to lay it down a little bit back on the wings with plenty of room to tie it in. I'm going to run a loose wrap, another loose wrap, and then I'm going to take it and I'm going to make sure it's oriented exactly where I want it on there. So basically it's going to look like this right here. Okay, see if you can see that. There we go. Next up, I'm just going to fold this over, and I want it to be not right on top of the hook eye. I want to have the hook eye exposed a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do that, and this is just going to make the head, and I'm really going to crank this down. Okay, just like that. I want to really, really have it cranked in there. And I'm taking time to resituate the legs where I want them as I'm going, so. And I'm going to take this all, I'm going going to run it back here. Make sure my legs are on the proper sides. Make sure everything's back here. And then I'm going to wrap in front of it around the eye there, okay? Now that really all that's left to do is whip finish and a little bit of trim up. So we're gonna do that. The easiest way to do that whip finish is to lock these in back. And because I haven't cut this right here, I took the legs to get them out of the way for wrapping. I'll put them underneath there like that. And you can see that pulls them back on it. Okay, so they are out of the way. And I'm just going to go ahead and do a little whip finish. Let me move this fly a little upward on that. There we go. And 1, 2, 3, and 4. There we go. So we got the whip finish on. And then clip this off. Pull out my legs. And I've got a little bit of trimming to do, but we're basically almost all the way there. So I'm gonna trim these legs. I'm just gonna pull them out, and wherever you like them, however short or long you want them. I don't like them super, super long because in nature, these do not have really long legs. So I'll pull out the back legs and kind of take them just behind the wings length on there. Okay, so we have that right there. Then the last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this collar right here. And how I do that, it's hard to show on camera, but I just kind of do a round or like a circular cut that goes, right, let me see if I can kind of draw this out. It's going to kind of follow this. It's like a half moon cut. So I'm going to just do that. Okay, we just kind of trimmed it up here. Let me do just a little bit more. And the fish never see this, so it's not like a big deal, but I just like to make it look good. So there we go. So it looks like that. And basically, I'm going to now just take some of my Loon UV clear fly finish, and I'm gonna put some on the underside right here, just to kind of lock where all the legs are, and also lock that little bit of thread, that knot in place so it lasts longer. And I'll just hit it with my light for a second. I don't know if you can see how much that glows. It's pretty amazing how much UV that has on it, on both the legs and on the abdomen, as you can see. So anyway, that is it. That is our finished fly. Let me pull this out of here, and it's such a cool little fly. And I was kind of laying in bed last night, and I was just thinking about lightning bugs, and I thought, man, I should tie a little lightning bug fly and figure out how to do it. And I didn't see where anyone had really been doing this, so I figured, well, I guess I got to do it myself. And this is what I came up with. Anyway, I hope you like it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and hope it catches you a bunch of fish. If you feel like it, I really appreciate you if you'd like and subscribe. And I'll keep these coming to you. Okay? Peace.